All right, so tensions escalating in the Middle East. How many times have I read that out loud? After Houthi forces attacked Saudi oil facilities over the weekend, unraveling a years-long truce, threatening to widen the war. So they have had a rivalry, and now they're going into the bigger story, of course, our fight with Iran. President Trump has paused U.S. strikes as his administration gives diplomacy more time, and he gives credit to the Oman for trying to broker some type of end to the logjam at the Strait of Hormuz. But since we've stopped attacking over the last 3 days, there's been no attack on merchant ships through the strait. So this is the added front. The Houthis been on the sideline. In 2025, they've been on the sideline. Now, since this war started, they've been on the sideline. They've been urged to move forward. And guess what? There are cargo planes from Iran landing in Yemen, in the Houthi-controlled areas, along with the Iranian commanders telling them essentially how to shut down a strait in 100 words or less. So what have they done? They have attacked 3 Saudi vessels. Now, two of those ships have been able to continue to unload their oil. Now, what's significant about this is since the Strait of Hormuz has been shut down, the Saudis say, okay, no problem. I'll redirect everything through 8 million barrels a day through this strait. You shut this down, it's going to really disrupt prices. That's why it's like $90 a barrel, and now that's dropped 5% when we got up this morning. Why? Because so far we have not gone back to fighting. What about the Hormuz Strait? Now, last time we heard there was about 3 or 4 ships getting through at a time. But last time we also found out afterwards, before we got into the MOU, that we've been getting our own ships through the strait on the Oman side, shut the transponders off, and they weren't necessarily being logged in traditionally. So there could be a lot more oil flowing through. The Houthis attacking risk opening up a second shipping crisis. That could be happening. We can also find a way to neutralize the Houthis as well. And now the war could draw more U.S. forces. Yes, we have more U.S. forces in the area. But we're also talking to the Gulf states saying if we attack, Kuwait, by the way, has attacked back quietly. So has the UAE attacked back in the past quietly. Well, what if we get them all to come in and join us? After all, we have the same objective, to neutralize Iran. And now this is a situation where we want to see if we can get this open again. We get the other strait open again, and then the prices get down to about $65 per gallon. So let's now talk about this and open up the discussion. Here to discuss this and where we go from here, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, Iraqi invasion commander, and visiting fellow at Heritage, Colonel Mike Jernigan. Colonel, are you pleased that after 14 straight days, we have 3 days of no action?
Hey, good morning, Brian. I am. As one of those boots on the ground in other wars, I am very thankful anytime that we have any conversation that stops fighting, whether it's temporary or whether it leads to a lasting peace.
Does it concern you how quick? Does it concern you how quick they armed up last time when we paused?
Yes, the Russians and the People's Republic of China are busily rearming Iran. And we're busily destroying things as they continue to get them. CENTCOM reports that we have about 20% left of the target list that we have not yet struck from the initial target package of Urgent Fury. So we have more targets to strike. But to your point earlier, it's encouraging to see the Gulf allies beginning to get involved in this.
So I found out from 2 separate sources, extremely credible, one of which is the president, that is not true we're out of interceptors. He said, would I like to have more? Yes. But that New York Times story is something that is not verified. Now, I have 2 separate sources. A third, if I look at the interview that Ambassador Mike Waltz did on Sunday. So there's someone in the White House or in and around the White House that's almost planting these stories. There seems to be a little bit of divide at the executive branch. Does it seem that way?
You know, I'm not concerned about the amount of interceptors that we have. Yes, if other people had come and helped us, we would have more. But it's important to remember that our Gulf allies have been buying those very same interceptors from us for 30 years. So whenever we need resupply, we can get it locally from the Saudis or Bahrain.
So what would you do with the Houthi situation? You know, this is a Saudi Houthi problem that's affecting everyone because it's oil and gas, and that's what Iran wants them to do. Do you think that we have to take kinetic action if this continues?
Yeah, the Houthis, it's important to think of the Houthis as the Taliban of Yemen. They're an illegal government with a different religious fervor that they're trying to really create another Shia state in Yemen. And so kinetic strikes against the Houthis, the Saudis are doing them, and I wouldn't be surprised if other Gulf states come in and contribute, and including America. Iran has tried to widen the front of this war. And I think it's going to come back and hurt them, as many of their proxies are going to get damaged and destroyed and hopefully decimated.
Vladimir Putin lying to the president, saying he's not helping, and Vladimir Zelensky is going to show that Russians are exactly helping the Iranians. So I'm sure he's going to continue to lose credibility with the President of the United States. Thanks so much, Colonel. Appreciate it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.